guys, Nick60 here, coming to you with, well, some updates from the Star Citizen panels and website concerning some of the design and some of the stuff that has been talked about at the Persistent Universe panel, and just some of the stuff in general that they have announced and talked about. This will not be covering everything. You should probably go have a look and watch the actual videos and read the update on what they're calling MobiGlas. This is just a condensed version of bits and pieces, particularly the stuff that I am personally excited about. And the first thing we'll cover is characters. Now, before people run away when I say what I'm about to say, I promise you it's different than what it probably sounds like at first. They will be honoring the multiple game packages that people get with multiple characters. So, for example, I have permanently, this is used footage sadly, the Mustang's Delta, which was upgraded off of the basic starter pack, and the Dragon, which also comes with a game package. That would be 2 characters, so already we have 2 separate characters for use in game. However, you can of course only play one at a time, and they've announced that you can do a couple things with this that basically allow you to use in some way or form both characters at the same time. Now, please don't run away. I know that there are some people that are immediately thinking EVE Online and going, while at the same time there are EVE Online players sitting there rubbing their hands with glee because, for those of you who don't know, EVE Online multi-accounting is pretty infamous for people multitasking, but this requires having multiple accounts, since each account only allows you to log in with one character at a time, and now we're saying that you're allowed to log in with multiple characters. But this is a little bit different than what normally is done in EVE, mainly in that you cannot directly control the second character. Now, before you just run off, let me explain. There are basically 2 options. Option number 1 is, and this is an option that I just had to smile when he said, you can use them as NPC sidekicks. They'll have everything that, you know, they normally have, but there'll be an NPC along for the ride to help you as a pilot, as an extra gun, as a turret gunner, if you're mining as an assistant, because mining's far different than just sitting and waiting. And I just thought, holy crap, you're telling me you can be your own sidekicks? That's awesome! And, let's be honest, that is awesome. The example they gave was more than just 2 characters as well. It was multiple people sitting in the same account, popping in, and let me put it this way. The question that was asked back to the person that commented about this was, so you're someone who with an Idris, which is basically a big multi-person frigate. So the implications are, well, you should be able to see what the implications of what they're saying is. But yeah, we're talking the ability to basically crew larger ships yourself if you need to, instead of having to, at least from how I interpreted it, instead of having to find a bunch of players who you have to hire and hope they don't turn on you, and admittedly the player base has proven to be nicer than that, but still, or B, hire NPCs. And again, we're not trying to discredit those 2 options, but the ability to run the stuff yourself is certainly pretty tempting. and pretty lucrative. The other thing that you can do, though, with your characters that I think I might have liked even more is the ability to actually invite a friend to come in and play as one of your alts. They didn't say specifically, unless I missed it, that that friend absolutely had to have their own account and then would just be hopping into your character. But either way, if they, you know, either way, the point is you're able to let people hop in as your characters, and come on, that's pretty cool too, isn't it? I mean, the example that I imagine is, say you're off in pirate space, deep in pirate space with a hidden base, and you need a friend to help, but they either can't get to you because of distance and time, or can't get to you because in the middle of hostile pirate space. Just have them hop into one of your characters, and then they're already there. So just what they're doing with multiple characters on an account, I think, is pretty unique. I personally haven't run into games that operate like this, and I am personally a fan. And so that is one thing right off the bat that has come out of this persistent universe panel and these new announcements that I really, really liked. Other stuff that they have talked about includes how FTL is going to work, the fact that you're actually going to have navigating capability, so it's more than just click in and go. In fact, everything, for the most part, and I like that they did this, is much less automated than it is in many games. I mentioned mining. You are going to need a team of miners in order to mine, because there may or may not be volatile stuff that needs to be scanned for constantly in a mine. You need to, on an asteroid, you need to actually direct the mining laser. You need to actually direct and pick out and scan the different rocks that come off. You need to make sure the asteroid doesn't go nuts and explode on you. So, and if it's one person trying to do all those jobs, they've said it's possible, but it's far more difficult than simply either working with your friends, or, worst case scenario, hiring NPCs or using your own characters as NPCs, which can have varying levels of results in terms of effectiveness in order to be able to do this. So, I like that. It's a shame that mining isn't as passive as it is in one way, because it means that you can't just go out and mine whenever you need to earn some cash and have time to burn, but not really time to focus. But at the same time, you can understand why they did this in terms of preventing the mass mining farms that develop in games like EVE Online. And I'm sure by now I have the EVE Online people hating me, but even I did a little bit of mining when I had time to burn. But like I said, I am supportive of the much more active approach they're taking to everything. And another thing, the second huge thing that I want to bring up is the MobiGlas, which ties into some of what they had talked about as well, with how they're doing Planetside interaction. And this is going to be my major geek out. MobiGlas is basically a combination of augmented reality and virtual reality within the game universe, in such a way that it is much more practical than a lot of what we see in sci-fi, and it gives you all that HUD navigation without the clutter of just random screens. We see some of that in the footage that I'm showing right now, in that they have, the HUD there, but it's part of the helmet instead of just randomly floating in front of you. You've got all the stuff you can see here within the helmet, but then you have the alerts and panels within the actual ship. MobiGlas acts like that, except not necessarily in a very pure combat-oriented environment. And like I said, a lot of this is based on how I'm understanding and interpreting what they've said combined with what I've read. So I'm hoping I get it right. No guarantees, unfortunately. So, what MobiGlas basically is it's a combination of a wrist device that serves as the main controlling mechanism, as well as either glasses or contacts or even a helmet visor or something similar that your character wears as well. And this screen that you have in front of your eyes, be it the contacts or whatever, provides some basic sort of heads-up display for your character, and then it's combined with the MobiGlas wrist mechanism, which itself functions as a screen slash manipulation board. And the end result is it overlays this massive set of information across the world around you, and is fed information from the different parts of the world. So when you go to a store, for example, you walk in and there will be, say, all these ship weapons and missiles and cannons set out across a huge showroom. Well, then you walk in and you look at, say, your Bearing M3A laser cannon, and you scan it with the MobiGlas, and you'll get a little heads-up display feeding you all this information through this to you, as well as buying options, if there's any modification options, if you have any already, the ability to pin it within your MobiGlas, go over to another cannon and compare them, and it's just the level of functionality that they're talking about for this MobiGlas just within the item manipulation is absolutely phenomenal. Like I said, it's the smooth operation of integration between this in-game interface and the in-game world. You look at an advertisement and you have the option to, quote, activate the advertisement to get more information on, say, the ship that's being advertised, where the nearest ship dealer that provides the ship is, ability to get navigation instructions to get there, perhaps the ability to just look up stats directly within this MobiGlas interface on the ship, and then compare it again to what you have, and see what the differences are, what the similarities are, if it looks like it's even within your price range in the first place. You have, and this functions as your all-purpose scanner as well. It's not just your shopping interface. You can attempt to scan other players, other NPCs. Say you're looking for a bounty hunter looking for someone, you can get special scanning equipment installed in your MobiGlas, because it's not just a one thing for everyone. There's different versions and different modifications, and you can be scanning around looking for your target, trying to find, okay, where is this guy? Where is this guy? Because you can't just go blasting within the environment, which I'll explain shortly. And you might walk into a building that actually has scanning jammers that you can either attempt to punch through if you have the right equipment, or that forces you to search by, manually looking from person to person, because you're not going to have the usual heads floating above everyone. Well, you can, but again, that's with the MobiGlas scanner. And so it just becomes, all this interface that we take for granted within normal games becomes as if we had that interface in real life, plus a couple hundred years of technology, of course, and how you would actually manipulate it instead of the usual bulky HUDs that we normally get. It will include things like vital information monitoring of yourself. Like I said, it's It's your interface for when you go to a store to buy things. It's how you can keep track of people and targets. It's your GPS. It's, let's see, what else did they talk about? It's your messaging system. It's your star map. It's how you say it's going to be one of the ways of checking different weapons from ship to ship and installing them and removing them and getting equipment sets filled out. It's just this huge interface that is designed specifically to integrate with the rest of the new world, which, like I said, we're seeing some of it, a very, very slim part of it, within the fighter interface we currently have in the helmet. But then you have the massive worlds that they will be building. These are truly massive. It's going to start with just the local area around your hangar and then spread out from there, which will include, as I said before, security systems in place and methods within the world to have like a PvP or a safe zone that makes sense based on how it would be executed instead of just a random. If you attempt to say shoot someone, the guard just appears and throws you in jail. And how this will be executed is a customs system, like in the MobiGlas, of course, acting as your ID as well. But a custom system that says, okay, have you caused trouble? Are you a pirate? Should we call someone to arrest you right now? Should we fine you for any damage you caused last time? Are you not allowed to carry weapons within this zone? And then, you pass through that and you walk through, and out you walk into the huge world of, whichever planet you're on, or asteroid, or space station, or whatever. And then as far as security is concerned, you'll have actual security officers, potentially automated turrets, force fields, maybe drones, and constant scans will be made of the area, detecting if someone is drawing their weapon, if someone is shooting, and alerting authority to intervene on behalf of when this is, say you're in the middle of a store, like a store, not like a big weapons store, and you pull your sidearm and point it at someone. Security's going to show up and start telling you, put the gun down now. And if you don't, well, then you're going to have security all over you, stunning you, maybe even shooting you, and dragging you off to jail, where you will pay a severe fine and, if you cause enough trouble, be kicked off the planet and told don't come back, which is enforced, which is the equivalent of being banned from a zone. And so this provides your standard hefty security, but at the same time, how you get the PvP they talked about is security will be lighter at certain times of the day, like in the middle of the night when they're not expecting a lot of people to be wandering around, perhaps some back alley shops, because the main shops are closed. You have to go to a back alley shop, and you're wandering down the alley. Well, if you hear a noise, that could be another player trying to come up behind you. That might want to let you know, congratulations, you're providing your own security because there's no one here. And the way they did that to run it as if, again, it's within the world instead of just quote-unquote within a game, I really, really like that type of interface and that type of system. And that it's really creating an environment. And the example I gave was of a relatively safe Planetside environment, maybe. But they also, if you're just on some outer rim asteroid colony, you might be providing your security no matter where you go, because they don't have or care about that kind of system. So you'll be in your full body armor with your heavy weapons with you at all times, because there's no security guard to show up and protect you if someone decides to cause problems. By comparison, though, other players might decide that they're going to show up and help you, because you never know what's going to happen. Maybe the person that's trying to grief you griefed them. And so this is a very different system than normal games, that, at least anything I have encountered, and it certainly seems very unique, to the standards, which typically are one of three things. One, you can't even activate your weapons on other players unless you're within set zones. Two, it's PvP all the time, no one cares. Three, it's sort of like EVE Online, where you can grief someone and the person gets punished, but but the person who was griefed still dies anyways, because the griefer was able to work faster than security. Because, as it said in EVE Online, they punish, not protect. And within Star Citizen, the local security forces, where they have them, are certainly going to at least try to protect. And again, you might grief once, and they'll look at you and say, you're not allowed to carry guns within these zones anymore, and take them away from you, or deny you so long as you have them on you. Of course, you could always ask someone else to bring a gun in for you, in which case, if that person's caught, they're in trouble, and you might be told you're not on this planet anymore. So it's very, very advanced, very, very twists and turns in terms of what can be done, but I personally really, really liked it. So those are the major things. I'm trying to keep this video from basically becoming as long as their videos, which I do encourage you to go watch. But those are just like a couple big things that really caught my attention that I just wanted to talk about in this video. And I mean, they just announced so much more and so many different things about finding colonies, settling your own colonies, and like I said, just travel in general, and how all these different systems and the job systems and the individual stores and the world that they're talking about is really a full-sized world, a real galaxy, not just a bunch of areas pinned together by a big map. And I am really, really looking forward to the next set of releases, including the group Planetside exploration within the next stages of Arena Commander, which it might not be the full thing yet, but it'll be just another close look into this huge world that's being created that I am really geeking out over. So that is going to be it for this video before it just becomes a massive rehash of everything they said. And I will put links into the description of their videos and the MobiGlas article. And I hope this video was helpful in some way, or at least gave you something to think about. Feel free to say what you liked or what you're looking forward to, or ask questions in the comments section. If you like this video and want to see more, please check out my channel, subscribe. I try to keep my Twitch loaded with updates as much as I can. My Twitch, I gotta stop saying that. Try to keep my Twitter updated as much as I can on what's going on. I am streaming on Twitch, Nikolai60_Silas. And if you really like this video and want to support, please send PayPal donations to nick60vids@gmail.com, or if you want to send regular support and get shoutouts as a sponsor and other little goodies, please check out my Patreon, Nikolai60, and links to all those in the description as well. I think I've talked long enough. This is Nick60 signing off. I will see you guys later. Fly safe, all.